All right, cool. So you can see I'm recording. So we'll just kind of get into this. It's nothing formal. I just wanted to kind of hear your perspective on the mental game, that kind of stuff. So this is the mental golf show. So I wanted to reach out to some swing thought guys, and I saw your name towards the top of the rankings right now, and I just wanted to see kind of how you relate to the mental game, what your thoughts are, how you work on it, that kind of stuff. So maybe maybe you could give me a quick like recent history, like how you got to where you are in the recent past.
Well, it's a long story actually
Okay.
to get where I got here. It's been a lot of process. It's been a long journey. Even though I'm just starting as a professional, but man, it starts all the way back when I was 6 years old, back in Argentina, just watching TV. Nobody in my family knew what golf was, and just crazy.
Mm.
Telling my parents, I want to play golf. I want to play golf. Imagine 6 years old, family not known, doesn't know the sport, and they don't know everybody that plays golf. So it was a very tough place to start with. And they started looking at yellow pages for the clubs where to go, and they tried to take me to the country clubs, and they were asking for like $1,000 membership, and my parents could not afford that. And but those clubs were recommending me to go to a club that was like an hour away from my hometown. And I started going there, and they had a golf school on the weekends, and I started there, and it was so easy for me because on my house I used to play the whole day with the charcoal stick and the deodorant ball, and I'll be playing all around the house with that, hitting that stick, sinking it into the drain, and yeah, that's how I started. And started competing locally, state in my state, and then I was really good rank. And then I started playing at 8 years old. I was national champion in Argentina, and it was everything was growing, getting better, getting better. And when I was 14 years old, I was number one in my class. And they started sending me to the United States to compete, to South America. So I was starting to represent Argentina all over the world, and my results, my good results all over the world, impacted the. So my good results all over the world, I started receiving scholarships from different universities. And believe it or not, when I was 15, I did not speak a single word of English.
Wow.
And all by sudden, I'm receiving all these letters to come to college, to US, and I didn't speak English. So my main goal was to put golf aside a little bit and start focusing on learning English to pass the SAT and be able to come study and play golf in the United States, like 9 out of 10 players in PGA Tour did. So that was the main goal. I came to the United States, learned to speak English, play college, and the University of Florida, and now I'm a professional golfer. So it's been a long journey, but yeah, I've been in all kind of levels of competition, and I play really good in all of them. And now I'm starting my pro career.
So did you just when did you actually turn pro? Like, was it right out of college?
Yes, so I only was able to play 3.5 years in college from 2015 until May 2018, and then I turned pro right there. But then last year I decided, after missing Q school on my second attempt, I decided to come back to University of Florida to finish the 8 classes that I was missing, and that was done in December. So I
Hmm.
just graduated from college, but I've been a pro for 2 years now.
Right, right. So how have your I mean, I hate to just jump right into how have your results been because that doesn't really matter, but I guess just for context of who you are and what you've been up to, like how have your past 2 years been competitively?
Yeah, definitely. Somebody with no results, it's less than somebody with results. So yeah, I mean, my results have been pretty good, and as an amateur, I got to be in the top 5 in the world. I won really good championships. I've been close to playing the Masters as an amateur. Lost by one shot in 2015. Lost in semifinals in the British Amateur, and and then won a couple college events, very important individual like the SEC championship and the Tavistock in Orlando and Isleworth, and going back to when I turned pro, my first year I struggled a little bit. I was my last year in college, and first year and a half as a pro, I've been with what is called the yips, which is a mental state that you block yourself and your hands do not react in a way that it's unexpected. And I was missing putters this far from the hole. So my scores were not good. My ball striking was always good, never struggled with that. But then when I get into the green and I'm trying to make the putts, they're just not going in. So I struggle a lot, and I've been working a lot on that. And now that I got over that, my scores are so low, and I'm playing really good. My putting is one of the best parts of my game, and I'm very excited for what I've been doing.
What'd you do to get over what you call the yips? I mean, missing short putts, get in your own way. What did you do?
Well, I did everything I could. I started putting lefty. I tried everything I could. Actually playing, putting with a driver, putting with a wedge, chipping in the green, everything you can imagine. I tried it. I tried all different kind of grips, arm lock, cross-handed, everything, one-handed, all that you can imagine. I think that the only way to get to fix a problem is by looking for a solution. Because if you just stay and think like and you become a victim of your problem, you're never gonna come to a solution. So I just kept trying, and it's not that you try just half an hour or 1 hour. No, it takes a couple of weeks of preparation, and then you go into a tournament. And in the tournament, you're like, oh, is this working really or not? And then it's tough to trust the process when you have to wait so long. And in the process, you're spending so much money in traveling and missing cuts, and it's very expensive lessons that you take. But finally, it's just been nothing. I'm back in the same position, same grip, same everything as I was before the yips, and it was just a process. It took me 3 years almost to get over it. So. Wow. Yeah, those 3 years were not fun. Actually, I had a couple good tournaments, but nothing like my potential can do. Now I know that I'm where I can go, where I can be, and I know I've been playing really good because of my putting, and it's just a matter of getting through that. And now it's really good. My results have been really good lately. Just won 3 tournaments in a row for the Swing Thought. Yesterday, I finished a. Sorry for the phone. That's here. Okay. I can do nothing about
That's it. That's okay.
Yesterday, I just pre-qualified into the Monday qualifier for the Puerto Rico Open, shooting 7 under. So yeah, I'm in a roll. So
you are on a roll. That's awesome. So you mentioned process, and I mean process is, as a word, is thrown out left and right in relation to golf, in relation to the mental game. But what does that reminds me of, like, your daily routine, what you kind of do on a daily basis to get better. Like, walk me and and the listeners kind of through what you do on a daily basis to kind of give people into a glimpse of what a professional golfer does to get better.
It's everybody's different. It's very interesting to see guys that really put like 6-7 hours a day. Grinders, they love to work, or some of them don't love to work, but they do it because they know that they have to do it to get better. And then you have other kind of players that just do the minimum, and they have the talent, and they just they believe on the way that they work, which is the key here. If you start looking to the side and you're like, oh, this guy is practicing 10 hours and he's doing good, okay, let's practice 10 hours so I do good. It doesn't work that way. The key here is to find the thing that works for you. That's why it's so special about golf. I've seen from one end to the other, and I'm lucky that I know my system. I know what works best for me, and it's just a matter of finding what is good for you.
So you've experienced a lot recently, probably maybe sleeping on a lead or being in contention? Obviously, you've won. So, what kind of things do you do to manage the emotions of being around the lead?
Well, I've been around the league for a while, in all kind of levels, starting in junior tournaments, then amateur tournaments, and I always found that it was not happening my way. I was missing the moment. Like, let's say I have this perfect example in 2015, I lost by one shot, to get in the Masters, missing two short putts on the last three holes, and you're like, holy cow, like I was so close to playing the Masters, and it's a life changing, and opportunity. And again in the British Am, and this and that, and you're like, man, I'm so close, but it's not. I cannot make it happen. um I got to a point where it's like where I learned that it's not making it happening. It just happens. Finally, I got the maturity. I'm 24 now, but it took me until now that I'm realizing that it's not in my control, winning or not winning. All I can do is just put myself in contention, and just wait for the best. And look, like last 3 weeks, I've been playing against really good players. And all you can do is put yourself in position and just play another good round on the last day. Last year I had a couple. I mean, we played three PGA Tour Latin America tournaments, and in two of them, I was on the last group, and both of them I finished fifth, and it felt like really bad because it's like, man, I'm leading, I'm top of the leader, and last round just those putts don't fall and leap out, and here a bad break and this and that, and you're like, man, like I'm so close, but it's not. I cannot make it happen, and I was a little desperate about it. Because I see other guys making it, and you're like, this guy beat me, and but well, going back, it's like, okay, listen, my coaches really helped me in this. Listen, like just focus on giving yourself chances. Even Tiger Woods has lost too. It's not that Tiger Woods won every single tournament. Yes, his percentage is like 20 to 25% of winning, but it's Tiger Woods. So I mean, look into those. Obviously, these mini tour things is other level. But if I look that, I'm like, I'm pretty good. I'm doing pretty good right now, 100%. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. The journey, the learning process. It's just sometimes it's very hard to see yourself doing succeeding
Mm.
when you're missing, when you cannot tap in the ball in the hole. So it gets very, very tough in the journey. But when you make it, it's when you receive a lot of when you feel a lot of proud, and you feel very, very happy about all the process that you've been through.
Yeah. So I know you got a tea time to catch, but I want to ask you just a couple more questions. One is, as is the theme with this podcast, is helping people work on their mental game and what specific things they can do. Is Does that actually cross your mind as to, I need to work on my mental game, or is it more of just kind of a daily, I just kind of am getting better at my golf game in general and that helps me, or do you actually do things to work on your mental game?
Well, I think the mental game is just in golf, especially, is just so important. I'll
Mm.
say probably 60 to 80%, where the other is physical, and then maybe give a percentage to luck or destiny, or however you want to call it. But mental is super important.
Mm.
The golf course, making decisions, being conscious about your decisions, being responsible for the decisions you make. It's all super important because when you get into the course, and you have two decisions to make, and you make one, and which you think in the moment that is good, but then you hit a bad shot, and ends up being bad, then you you hit yourself by saying, "Oh, I should have done the other one."
Mm.
But now that you have a result, you say that if you hit a good shot, yeah, it was perfect. So that's something that I've been learning a lot, to be determined with my decisions and just trust them. And no matter what happens after I hit the ball, just go and find the ball and try to make another good decision. We don't make bad decisions in the moment, so that is the main thing that I think of most of the time, and it's been really really helpful for my game.
Yeah, sounds like it's more of just a let's make a decision in the moment, let's be committed to it, let's trust in my ability, and then whatever happens, I I tried my hardest. It's not like I was, you know, purposely made a bad decision. You tried your hardest,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Sometimes we're hard on ourselves. It's very easy to get hard on yourself if you don't get the good result. So that's helped me a lot to relieve a lot of pressure and trying to make everything perfect.
Mm. Yeah. Perfectionism definitely leads to too much pressure, right?
Yes.
So I my last question was gonna be how much percentage do you think is the mental game and how much is physical? And you already kind of answered that. You said 60 to 80 mental, right?
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. At
what
our level, in a professional level, it gets to a point where everybody can hit the ball, can
Mm,
move the ball both ways a little bit, can hit the driver 280 or over. Even the ones that hit shorter, it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously, yeah, it's gonna make a little difference, but you can make up with the mental. You can have a guy that hits it 350 but doesn't know how to play logically in a course. He hits driver on every hole. The guy that hits a driver but hits an iron on the hole that has to hit an iron in the long run is going to play better than the guy that just hits driver everywhere.
mm.
So that's what it comes down to the mental part. I mean, the mental part is so wide, it just so
Yeah,
it's
broad. It's a
it's
big spectrum. Yeah.
abroad. Yeah, it's just so big that you have so many parts to work on. So it's
Yeah.
something that endless.
Yeah. And
Even though it's just between our ears, but it's endless.
yeah, right. That's a good way to put it. So lastly, uh, because you had already answered my final question, what do you think is the one, I guess, since you said it's so broad, this is hard to answer, and there's so many millions of different kinds of golfers. What do you think is the one most important mental trait for a golfer?
A mental what?
Like a mental trait, a mental category, like let's say patience or something like that.
Whew,
Putting you on the
that's a
spot a
tough
little bit.
one.
Mm.
That's a tough one because I think it really has to do with where your game is. I mean, if you are a guy that hits it far and hit so many greens in a round, and you're like, and you in par fives you're putting because you're hitting irons into the greens, it's gonna be different than the guy that just kind of struggles a little more to get it going, hits long irons on the green, so it's not gonna have as many opportunities. But in my case, that I hit the ball super far and I get a lot of opportunities, it's just being patient.
Mm.
When you don't see those spots go in and you start desperating a little bit, you miss a green, you don't make an up and down, and you're like, I had that opportunity here, that there. Now I made a bogey. To be patient is, like you said, it's very key because you never know when it can turn up. Like
Mm.
you sink one putt and then you're putting for eagle and you leap out, but you made another birdie. Then you hit a good shot, you tap in, you make another birdie. You can get very quick and get it rolling.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
in my case, it's being patient, and I've seen it. Like couple of tournaments that I'm like, well, I shot 2 under, but could have been 6 easily, and the next day it's like 3, but could have been 7. You're
Mm.
like, and the next round it's like another one, and then the last round 7 or 8 under, and you're like, wow, I knew it was coming.
Mm.
I'm playing good. It's just a matter of being patient and waiting.
Yeah. Yeah. Patience has to be the top for everybody, no matter what. It, like might even require more patience if you're struggling hitting long irons in, right? And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
even more.
excellent.
I think patience goes very along with acceptance too.
Mm.
Acceptance of that putt not going in. Uh, Acceptance that you had to make a bogey in that hole because you made a bad decision, and it's acceptance that you have to learn from that. Not fighting it. It's like, I knew I had to hit to the middle of the green instead going for the flag, and now I make a bogey. That's when the fight starts inside you, that you're like, I'm not accepting what has happened and you're trying to change it. So staying in the moment, in the present, being patient, and I think those are the main things that I
Yeah.
that I think of.
Yeah. Those are huge. So what's your next tournament coming up?
I'm gonna be playing on Monday for a Monday qualifier for the Puerto Rico Open, which is a PGA Tour event.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Awesome.